Benji, I don't care, but
I'm sure there's a dramatic sequence here.
does everybody feel the excitement in the air?
I am very
It's
excited.
overwhelming.
I didn't know I was so excited.
When can our family start zooming?
Yeah, we should have had
I understand it was based on
We should all have laptops so we could just kind of go on the laptop.
Actually, Jeremy wanted to come, and I told him he can't come because he wasn't part of the university.
Okay.
I know, I can imagine.
When I got my LLM,
If I knew, I would have invited all my family. You know, I'm really proud of myself on local basketball. Like, I don't think I was present on my own graduation.
Look at us.
Look at us, the dean!
Dear faculty and graduates of Chaverim University 2020-2021.
When do we throw our
As your dean, a faculty member and a student of Chaverim University, I've taken on the task of writing a valedictory speech to mark this occasion. Now, typically, the student having the highest marks in the graduating class is the one chosen to deliver the valedictory address at the commencement exercises. My dismal scholarly achievements this year would ordinarily move me to the bottom of the list of candidates for this important role. But as dean, I control the register. And so I found it no challenge whatever to assign myself a grade of 110 out of 100. The highest academic achievement ever attained at our alma mater. It's good to be king. So let me begin. As we gather on this beautiful afternoon in this beautiful garden, and thank you to our hosts Benji and Nava for arranging this. Wonderful. All of us are relatively healthy with some exceptions, happy more or less, and hopeful. I'm mindful of the need to talk about our journey in terms of a story. Why a story? We humans are hardwired to best understand our world in terms of a narrative. The author Terry Pratchett put it in one of his many books, the anthropologists got it wrong when they named our species Homo sapien, meaning wise man. In reality, we are pan-narans, the storytelling chimp. We are storytelling chimps. So as one storytelling chimp to another, some more than others, I invite you to turn our thoughts to exactly 1 year ago, the late summer of 2020. I'm going to tell the story in 3 parts. First, I'm going to set the scene. Then I'm going to talk about us heroes and what we did, and then I'll talk about the here and now and what we might do. First, setting the scene. The first part of our story is where our heroes found ourselves in. The late summer of 2020 was a fretful time. The news was grim. Earlier that year, we weathered the first wave of the pandemic quite badly. Many people got sick. Many died. But there was a lull during the summer months. The warm weather meant that people could be outside, and as we learned later, this helped dampen the spread of the virus. However, the short reprieve of the summer months gave us, the short reprieve that the summer months gave us were waning. People were interacting indoors again this time last year, and the virus was on the rise. It was becoming plain that the pandemic would keep ravaging our planet in waves. The first wave earlier that year had taken a deep toll. The economy ground to a virtual standstill as businesses and factories were shut and employees were sent home, airlines stopped flying, schools closed, cruise ships became floating petri dishes. People were lined up at stores, emptying the shelves of items they thought they might need. Toilet paper, yeast, flour, hand sanitizer. Remember the craziness of that time. With the colder weather descending on us, we lost the ability to have socially distanced outdoor visits. Case counts were rising rapidly. Emergency and ICU departments were again overloaded and in crisis. Healthcare workers were falling ill. Seniors and the physically frail were dying in droves. Field hospitals were erected in hospital parking lots. Refrigerator trucks made ready to receive a flood of corpses were set to the ready. So again, we stopped visiting friends, neighbors, and family members. We were not sure how the virus was transmitted. You didn't know who had it and who didn't, and now you avoided everybody. No one knew how to treat it. There was no vaccine, and we didn't know if there would be one or if it would be effective when they did create one or how we might get it. On top of this, the bloviating charlatan who occupied the White House was undermining the scientific work that could lead to a treatment. Uplifting? So in the midst of this rising gloom, we did what we could to physically protect ourselves and our families. Those of us not in essential services locked ourselves into our own homes and rural cottages. You know who you are. Those that could continue working from home did so through the magic of technology, and those that couldn't stopped working. Some of us even brought our adult children back into our homes where we could better protect them, or they protect us, as the case may be. We anxiously withdrew from our neighbors, from society, and tried to shut out the world. Each of us created a virtual wall around our nuclear family. We hunkered down, peering through the curtains at the thin traffic outside and wondering what will happen next. As the summer faded, the skies clouded over, the weather cooled, and the days and weeks and months wore on, the effects of the self-imposed isolation began to take its toll. Science tells us, and we don't need science to tell us, but it does tell us, that it is not healthy for us hairless chimpanzees to be alone. Evolution has not wired us that way. Just as a single worker bee cannot live without its hive mates, people cannot thrive without one another. Peter Singer, an American political scientist and author, said, "Human beings are social animals. We were social before we were human." So, using the miracle of modern technology, we broke down our walls and reached out to one another. Part two. The next part of our story is about what we heroes did to overcome adversity. We didn't start Chaverim University from nothing. By the fall of 2020, we were already a cohesive community of Chevra with more than 20 years of friendship together. Our Davisville Village Chaverim community is in itself a wonderful story that should be told, but that's for another day. Leveraging our long history together, we already were gathering once a week via video conferencing technology on Saturday nights. But these get-togethers had no particular agenda. We would just talk, exchange news, commiserate about the pandemic, and enjoy each other's company for an hour or two. When the conversation was getting thin, we tried to play some online games. A nice distraction, but like junk food, it was filled the time but didn't nourish. Given the months of darkness ahead of us, we needed some structure, something that would organize, focus, and bring meaning to our far-flung community. So after bouncing several different ideas around, the idea of Chaverim University was born. With only a simple scheduling software and a handful of cajoling emails, our academic calendar emerged. Each week, on Saturday nights, one by one, we each stepped forward and delivered a thought-provoking lecture on a myriad of topics spanning all the arts and sciences. We learned about history, medicine, genealogy, fine arts, photography, criminality, morality, spirituality, music, the economy, gerontology, yoga and breathing, immigration, employment, motorcycle culture, cinema, empathy, law and the right to die, the cosmos, apiology, and artificial intelligence, and much more. But most importantly, we learned about each other and ourselves. Despite the necessity for maintaining our physical distance from one another, Chaverim University brought us close together, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. As many of you have said, all through the bleak winter of 2020, Chaverim University was the highlight of our week. As the spring transitioned into the summer of 2021, again, the warm weather gave us respite from our self-imposed isolation. A major wave of contagion subsided for a time, and we were again able to emerge from our walled fortresses and be with one another, friends and family, albeit outdoors. The final presentations of Chaverim University were slightly extended with short extracurricular show and tell presentations, which were every bit as captivating as the main lectures. Then, our semester ended with the promise of a graduation ceremony later in the year. Part 3. The final part of our story is about the here and now and what comes next. As I was preparing for this, my valedictory address to this august gathering, I sat down to research the meaning of the word convocation, a word that isn't used in everyday speech and one that I wasn't very familiar with. Turning to my trusty copy of the Oxford English Dictionary, I thumbed to the designated page, and this is what it said. The condition of being unable to easily get rid of waste material from the bowels. It was then I realized I misplaced my glasses and was on the wrong page of the dictionary. So off I went to find the suckers, but they were on my head the whole time. Now, the correct definition of convocation is the act or process of calling together an assembly of persons to a meeting. The act or process of calling together an assemblage of persons to a meeting. It's a word that resonates with me, as this is the essence of my contribution to Chaverim University. Now, I'm humbled by when you attribute the founding of this great institution to my meager efforts, but you do me way too much honor. I truly feel that my contributions was that of a backroom administrator, leveraging the simple tools of project management and communication to support the creative genius of you, our illustrious faculty. As faculty, we are very accomplished. Between us, we have about 50 college diplomas, university degrees, and professional designations. About 50. Add to that 50 or more years of life experience, and the enigmatic magic that is Chaverim University came about because of the incredible knowledge, life experience, and wisdom in each of you. Chaverim University is you. Thank you. I pay him for that. Here we are on the threshold of another fall and another winter. The pandemic still rages, and there's no clear end in sight. Although, thanks to the incredible scientific accomplishments of the global community, we have vaccines, we have some treatments, and more confidence that we can beat this thing. But the winter is coming. So what do we do now? Another semester of Chaverim University? Perhaps. But as we movie buffs know, the sequel rarely lives up to the magic of the original film. In fact, a weak sequel can dull some of the magic of the original. But it can happen. The Godfather 2, for example, was every bit as good as The Godfather. So we need to talk to one another to see what comes next. Ending paragraph. I count myself extremely fortunate to have found and to be part of such a vibrant and loving community. A community that stays together and supports one another through happiness and through sorrow. And the idea of Chaverim University was to bring our community together to fill our hearts, our minds, and our spirits at a time when there was so much loneliness, so much fear, and so much hopelessness. I think you'll agree with me that it has met and exceeded its objectives. So much so that Chaverim University has become a myth, a part of my personal story, and I'm sure a part of yours. Chaverim University is now a part of the narrative we chimpanzees tell one another. I can think of no more appropriate way to bring this commencement speech to a close than by turning to our long Jewish history and liturgy. And I want to draw from our liturgy a blessing that recognizes the fleeting nature of life, our appreciation and awe, and our gratitude for living, the Shehecheyanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Shehecheyanu, that we were given life. V'kiyamanu, that we survived. Shehigiyanu, that we arrived to this day. And let us say amen.
Amen. actually feel like this is a classic sort of thing that describes what's happened, spontaneous communities.
Get to stand up.
What I'm saying, thank you so much, Ron. And I wanted to say that I think what he's describing here is something that is phenomenon, that is basically describing what is happening during this difficult, challenging time, which is the spontaneous emergence of community where everyone contributes. And I actually feel like I'd like to find out where we can post this, because I think it'd be very interesting for a lot of people to read it as a prototype of what's really going to be in the future. So I would like to see where this is a classic community builder endeavor. You know,
I was going to make it a TikTok. I don't know whether that would work.
I actually think, you know what? I think you should submit it to a TED Talk. Actually, it's
I think you should do it.
You know, yeah, you should do it. You know what, Ron? Seriously.
All right,
Actually,
I'll get right on it.
no, seriously. Can you do it?
I don't know what a TikTok is other than the words itself.
No, the TED Talk is a great idea. Actually,
TikTok.
Oh, a TED Talk. I said.
I thought TED Talks. TED Talks. I thought TikToks, but I'm saying TED Talks.
TED
You know,
Talks,
that
okay.
would be a great one. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a classic TED Talk.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
Yes, it is a good idea. I think it's very, you know.
TikTok, what the hell is this?
And what is a TikTok? I
have no idea.
We should do a TikTok. What's a TikTok?
It's shorter than a TikTok.
Is it? I see. It says
I know what a tic-tac is. The breath mint. But I don't know.
Anyway,
It's the same thing, no?
Maybe.
now we are the part of the ceremony of the awarding of the diplomas, and we're going to do it in the order. And thank you, Benji, for going through and assembling it in the rough order of presentations. Some of us have given multiple presentations, so the award will be for all of the presentations. And we're very fortunate to have in our publications department, connected to the main administration, we have a diploma to hand out. So I'll call you up one at a time. And I will invite you that when you receive your diploma and the dean shakes your hand, to say a few words, as per the invitation, about what Chaverim University meant to you.
But I wanted to say, who designed this diploma?
But Stuart designed the logo.
This is so impressive, the logo.
It looks better in color, but we only have black and white. Oh well.
It's beautiful. So thank you for the design team.
Brilliant.
Yeah, gorgeous. I'm going to frame it.
All right. The first graduate, and in no particular order, it's in the order of presentation, Benjamin Rubin. Please, Benjamin Rubin. For his presentation, my 50th anniversary bar mitzvah, what I learned, and...
It's all written here.
Oh, it's all written there. 50th anniversary, what I learned, the Dylans and the Cohens of the Golden Age of Spain, Hebrew poetry of 1001 nights, and contemporary Israeli music. Congratulations,
And
Mr. Rubin.
you can say something.
And we have a box of Smarties to improve the Smartiness. Thank you, Stuart and podium is yours, sir.
You can tell them the story about the Smarties, Benji. Yeah, that's a classic story.
I think he's written notes here. Uh-oh. Okay, you're setting a bad precedent for the rest of us. Okay.
4 in 20 years.
Some years ago, Nava and I took the introductory course at the Kabbalah Center. And one thing I really got out of that course on the Kabbalah Center, and in fact they give it to you in a little thing you can carry around in your wallet, and back in the days when I carried around a wallet, I don't anymore because I never go out. But it really stuck with me. It's what they call the Kabbalah proactive formula. And this is the Kabbalah proactive formula. I'm going to recite it to you. 1. They're talking mostly about emotional things, but you'll see how it is applicable. 1. A situation arises that triggers your reactive nature. 2. Realize your reaction, not the situation, is the problem. 3. Restrict your reaction and invite the light in. 4. Share in a proactive manner. Well, in 2020, a situation the pandemic and the lockdown arose, which definitely triggered our reactive nature. Each of us came to understand in our own way that how we react to the situation is what matters. Guided by Dean Ron's vision and expert, good-natured, and extremely amusing leadership, one of the pleasures of preparing that list of things is his introductory remarks each week were hilarious. Some of them were like laugh out loud, tears rolling down your eyes. Anyway, guided by Dean Ron's vision and expert, good-natured, and amusing leadership, we developed an innovative, creative, structured reaction that allowed us to invite the light in, and we shared in a proactive manner. Now, tomorrow in this garden, Nav and I are hosting for our new granddaughter a Simchat Bat, which is the non-surgical baby naming ceremony for a girl, which is parallel to a Brit Milah. In this traditional ceremony, in which we bestow on the baby her new name, we invoke for the baby a traditional blessing. We say, as the baby enters into this Brit, so may she enter into a life imbued with three central values: Torah, Chuppah, Ma'asim Tovim. Torah, learning; Chuppah, loving relationships; and Ma'asim Tovim, good deeds. So, by the coincidence of our Chaverim University graduation ceremony happening just before the Simchat Bat, I have come to see how Chaverim University embodies these same three central values: learning, relationships, and positive action. All three values have been expressed by our creative reaction to the situation of the pandemic and the lockdown. And our response as a community of friends, by setting up, enthusiastically participating in, and maintaining and continuing our Chaverim University, gave expression to the threefold blessing, namely Torah, which is learning; Chuppah, which is enhancing and deepening the relationship of our community; and Ma'asim Tovim, doing positive actions that are good for us individually and for us as a community. So I'm very grateful in accepting this diploma to Ron for initiating and leading this, and I think part of his charm is his modesty. It's true that he only did a few things, but those few things were critically important, and without him, we saw many times earlier on in the thing, when he didn't organize it, it just didn't get done. And when he did, it did. So that's great. But not only to him, it's also to all of us for participating and embracing it and not being cynical about it and getting into it. And I am very proud to be a graduate of the first year of Chaverim University, class of 2020-2021.
Wonderful. Thank you. Beautiful.
Who's the next person?
Yes. The next one we're going to call up to the bima is Ron Riesenbach. I will accept this on behalf of Ron, who doesn't appear to be here today,
Ron.
for his The Meaning of Life Through the Lens of Genealogy, Family History, and Genealogy Research, and his second lecture, Developing Innovative Health and Wellness Solutions for Older Adults. Mazel tov, Ron, wherever you are. Okay. Yeah, right, okay, that's good. And the third graduate, I'd like to call up Gary Lewis to the pandemic class of 2021. Discovery of Insulin Revisited, the Lessons of the Modern Era. Podium is yours, sir.
Thank you. Is this being recorded?
It is.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
Can my mother
Let me
see
turn it
this?
off.
And that's, everybody said I was never going to amount to anything. Here's the proof. So this has actually been a very, very special aspect of my life, very, very special. And I also want to really pay tribute to Ron. So I think you were amazing, and I agree with Benji. When he went away, there was no Chaverim University. It just fell apart. So you did a fantastic job, and thank you very much. And it isn't really about how smart people are, or how artistic, or how anything. It was just really getting to know you all. And some of you were very afraid to talk, and you delayed it, and you overcome. Some of you overcame that, and are maybe still afraid, but it was just wonderful. It gave deep insights into all of you. It absolutely strengthened our friendship. I feel I know so much more about each of you, and it's just a very warm and wonderful experience, and thank you very much for allowing me and Andrea to be part of this. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
See how you dropped it.
I now would like to call Stuart Stein to the podium to receive his diploma on 2 presentations. The camera never lies, but Stuart does. No, wait a minute. Camera never lies, not seeing is not believing, and figuring out the night sky, or how I put the ass in astronomy. Sure. Thank you. I don't have a prepared speech, but I do have some prepared meats. No. This was an amazing experience, and as everyone's been saying, I mean, Ron, enough. No, it's not enough. It's not enough, because it really meant a lot to me, certainly, and to be able to hear what everybody had to say. I mean, it really was a learning experience, not just about your topics, but about you as well, and I really enjoyed that. And just even preparing my presentations kept me busy for weeks. And that in itself was like sort of a miracle. So so thank you, Ron, and thank you, honey. Nothing. I just wanted to get a kiss. Congratulations, kid. Thank you. And I'm a smarty. Thank you. And our next graduate is Nikki Wise. Nikki Wise, for 2 presentations: the Empathy Walk, which was lovely, and To Be or Not to Be Urban Beekeeping in a Time of Environmental Stress. You waiting for like an orchestra to...
I don't know. You're talking.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, you guys are a hard act to follow. I have nothing prepared. But I want to thank you for starting this. And the first week was fun. It was like exciting. It was Zoom. None of us knew what was going on. And I loved when you said, okay, and how about next week? And, oh, okay. And then at the end of that, you said, okay, and how about next week? And then it just carrying on. And like you said, it was the highlight of my week. I always look forward to Chaverim, and then Chaverim University, and then Chaverim Show and Tell. And I didn't know everybody. I know some of you well. Some of you I didn't really know at all. I didn't know you at all. And to meet and to have like that commitment of showing up and learning about everybody and learning about what you're interested in was just amazing to me. And so thank you for including me and Mike, and because we were sort of newcomers, we're not the Chaverim Davisville group. And I learned so much from everybody. Wisdom is shared. It's not kept to yourself. So thank you for creating the environment for all of us to share that. And thank you to everybody for showing up. So,
Thank you. Lovely. Thank you. That's great. Mike Fox, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Mike Fox, in the flesh. Multiple presentations, never one to shy away. Presentation 1, today's job market and the gig economy. Number 2, it's all about the journey, motorcycle passion and experiences. That was a cool one. And then to top things off, Bill Gates' book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster.
Oy,
Congratulations.
all that stuff.
Wants to follow.
So, yeah.
To make the sequence.
So, the point that Nikki made was we weren't part of the Davisville group, right, to start. And so, first of all, thank you for inviting us in. And who would have thought that a group of really diverse and dynamic individuals would look forward to 8 o'clock on a Saturday night spending an hour and a half together as a group. So, I mean, in that regard, the pandemic did something really special for all people, and it's an endeavor that we should share with other people to take advantage of, you know, to find out each other. So, thank you, and I won't keep repeating the point about Ron, except I'll repeat the point about Ron.
Tell me how great I am.
You know, those little missives that you did, brilliant.
Okay,
Anyways,
thank
you should, if you ever decide to get out of technology, you got a career happening.
Well, I know who the headhunter is.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you very much. Jacob Stillman, would you please limp to the podium? Establishing criminal responsibility and the validity of the insanity defense, and made legal perspectives defining cases under the Charter. Congratulations, sir.
Okay. And I prepared nothing, and I can't speak unless I'm in front of a computer these days, so I'll, anyway, I really can't add anything that's already been said by who've gone ahead of me. I'm just so appreciative of what this did and gave some purpose to our Saturdays, and yeah, the preparation, it definitely focused your mind, and you know, you couldn't just wing it. I probably worked harder on those presentations than I do on most of the cases I presented in court.
I love the way he sells his skills.
Too bad. Clients can't sue me when they're in jail. All right.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mark Gavin. Mark Gavin. The sources and impact of blues music. Mr. Gavin, congratulations on your graduation. Here we go.
Well, this is my first graduation, actually. Never thought I'd come this far, but thank you anyway. It was amazing. So we learned a lot and got to know people more than before, and hopefully we can continue in some way.
Okay, very
Thanks.
good. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Take your Smarties. You need them.
You earned
Congratulations. Andrea Lewis. Andrea Lewis. The breath in Judaism, Buddhism, and yoga.
Thank you.
Bump.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank
graduate.
you so much. Okay, so I also didn't prepare anything, but I do have a few things to say. As I probably mentioned in my talk about yoga, which you probably don't remember anything of it at all. Well, maybe some. The word yoga means to connect. And it's about all sorts of different connections. And one of the connections that often comes to mind for me, well, you know, clearly it's the connection between people, but it's also the connection between our past, our present, and our future. And so, as I'm standing here with this group, I've been thinking about our history as a Chavira, and where we've come from, and the different iterations of our group, and so we have new people in the group. We've done things very differently at very different times, and this has been an absolutely wonderful connective iteration of the Chavira. But I'm also, and this moment in and of itself is an incredible moment. Just being, you know, let's just all take this opportunity to be fully present in this moment. That is just such a special moment, to all be together in the flesh, in this beautiful garden. Thank you, Nava and Benji, for having us here. Thank you, Ron, for organizing this. And my mind also goes to the future, and the future of our Chavira. And I'm not sure what that is going to be, but I'm sure there are wonderful things to come for us as a group, supporting each other, caring for each other, learning from each other, loving each other, and staying connected for the rest of our lives. So thank you, everyone. And I'm glad I didn't have to prepare.
No.
Much better. Exactly.
The next graduate is Daphne Wolf. Employment trends in a time of pandemic, the emerging job market for young people. Congratulations, graduate.
Thank you.
Go.
Thank you. So it's been a difficult 9 months for Ed and I, as you know. And the support from all of you was incredible and heart-rendering for us all the time. I'm one of the ones at Chaverim University that cut class occasionally. We weren't there all the time, but every time we came, we learned, and I loved, to your point about getting to know each other a lot more, and we have nothing but gratitude to this process and to all of you. So thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you. And the inimitable Ed Applebaum, graduate for Make, a meta-analysis of the making of the film of Citizen Kane. Congratulations, sir. There you go.
Thank you very much. Well, I guess Daphne kind of said it for me, but what I wanted to say was I'm thankful that this award is not related to attendance, because of course, as Daphne said, we weren't there an awful lot, but when we were there, it was really meaningful for us. And the word that kind of comes to mind is nourishment, because you know, I feel like it was a real nourishment for me, for my mind, listening to you and learning a lot. And you know, during the last 8-9 months, the nourishment of my soul, you know, through all the love that was extended to us, and finally the nourishment of the body, you know, where the wonderful meals that you guys prepared and offered to us. So thank you again. We're so grateful, and feel very lucky to be here. Thank you.
A little one. I held my breath. Okay. The next one is a great pleasure. Perla Riesenbach. The experience of immigration to Canada, citizenship, and how to speak Canadian. You have a speech. I'm shocked.
It's not as good as, that's all I get. That's all I get.
Okay, later.
So, I did not sleep my way to this podium. Sleeping with the dean does have its, you know, pluses, but I got here on my own achievements.
We have no doubt.
So the Chaverim University was a highlight for me. Every week, truly. You know, it was truly what I looked forward to, and I know for all of you, it was a ray of sunshine in the dark days of winter. And if we have to do it again, we will. And I think that wouldn't be so terrible, right? I want to thank Benji for putting together this beautiful ceremony, and Susan for working so hard on printing the diplomas, and for making and packaging the Smarties, and Stuart for the logo. This doesn't just happen, right? It takes thought and energy and imagination, creativity. So Benji's vision, Ron's full support, or no, your vision and his full support. I don't know, you guys are such a bromance going on there. I feel like the marriage is a little crowded. Anyways, I learned so much about all of you, and I loved it, and I love you. Aww, that's all I have to say. I'll see you later.
Leave the absentees till the end.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Right. The next graduate is Kimberly Wintemute. for a presentation on MAID, Physician's Perspective, Balancing Compassion, Ethics, and Professional Practice. You passed that. You did all that. Thank you very much, graduate.
Thank you. You know, I was very fortunate to have known Ron's dad, Joe, and it is really not lost on me that the son of someone who survived horrible time in history in extreme circumstances would be able to lead us through another horrible time in history. Yeah, it really, that connection between, you know, from your dad to you and the way that you've sustained us through this is really quite remarkable. And I also feel like I got to know people so much better through our Saturday nights. And thanks.
Okay. Right. Susan Chernoff. Is there Susan Chernoff here?
Oh, here.
Congratulations, graduate. Please, the podium is yours. For your presentation, My Creative Journey, a lifetime of creative endeavors in music, language, and art.
Thank you, Dean Ron. And I won't repeat everything that's been said because it's all been said so well. And because I also did not prepare anything to say. So I will simply say thank you for this and for the opportunity, again, of having great connections with all of you and having a very wonderful thing to do every Saturday night throughout the year. It's been a highlight of my year as well. So, and thanks again to Benji and Nava for hosting this. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. The next graduate is Amanda Gavin, an insider's look at CAMH and the art and science of mental health. Your career, unbelievable. Here we go. Congratulations, graduate.
Thank you. Okay, I've got a little speech, but it's mostly all been said before. So, first of all, this Chaverim University was the thing that got us through COVID. It was one of those things. How did we survive COVID? Because we had this amazing thing to attend every week. It gave me a weekly purpose. I really enjoyed learning more about people that I've known for many, many years, but didn't know all that much about. So that was very, very interesting for me, and to learn what they do or what they were passionate about. So that's been amazing for me. It gave me a great sense of community and was a great bonding experience. So for me personally, presenting was a huge challenge because it forced me, first of all, to commit to doing it. Then what was I going to talk about? Then major preparation, which presented endless technical challenges for me, and thank goodness Zoe was there to support me and do my slideshow, or it might have been an absolute disaster. It was also an opportunity to reflect on my life and my work, and definitely was a test of my courage. And finally, it led to a great sense of achievement that I was actually able to present, and notice that everybody was present. It was a full house, my presentation, which I was very happy about because it was extremely intimidating to present to such a crowd of intellectuals. So it was a very rewarding experience for me. And there were many highlights. When I think back, I absolutely loved the bees and learned so much about bees, and I was completely proud of our Kimberly and her work with MAID and the courage that brings. That was just so fascinating. And I loved Jacob's speech about with the not criminally responsible with the client that you presented, and Andrea and Marla's on wellness and yoga and meditation. And then certain things that I may not have been interested, like motorbikes, but they were still very interesting, and I enjoyed it because there's always something to learn, even if it's something that you may not have gone out to research about. So I want to thank Nava and Benji for hosting. That's very, very, very nice of you. And Ron, if it hadn't been for you, we would never have got it together. So really, really appreciate it for initiating, encouraging, and maintaining this in you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Here we go. This is the last one? Okay. And now Nava Yefet Rubin, our hostess, and our graduate, My Journey of Creative Transformation. Your journey, not mine, but you get the idea. Congratulations, graduate.
Thank you. Wow, I really didn't prepare anything and I didn't know what to expect, but I think I'm so much more comfortable actually not preparing, and well, I have to just sit with what I went through. So I just want to thank all of you actually for supporting me to really come back to myself as I knew myself before I came to Canada, and to feel, I went through a lot of experience. It was I'm becoming a transformational coach for women, and so this is what I've been connected deeply with a lot of different groups from all over the world. But it was a part of me that I didn't share with a lot of people. I'm connected with a lot of people that share the same interest as me, which is how to move people through transition and transformational life changes. But for me to come and share that part with you that I love and care deeply, I had to go through actually a terrifying experiences, and I was afraid to show up with that part of myself, to be really fully, show all aspects of myself. And I noticed that a lot of women in this group actually went through a similar kind of experience, which was interesting, which is part of the reasons why I think I would want to coach women to show up fully. I want to thank Andrea for what you shared here, because I resonate with everything that you shared here. It is an amazing honor to be part of this community, to walk this life, to walk this life together and not alone, to know that we can show up uniquely ourselves, different, uniquely ourselves, and united with each other, and to have the tolerance for each other and the compassion for each other. So for me, it's beautiful, and it really is visionary, and I feel like this is the future that we're all stepping into, really. This is the future. We are the future. We're, as Andrea said, we are bringing together the past, the present, and the future together. And I thank each one of you, and I'm a little bit shaky, but quite grounded, really. And I want to thank, each one of you. Ron, thank you, and each one of you. I think we are becoming the leaders we were meant to be. And I was thinking for 1 second about the name Chaverim, that I know that Perla and Andrea established that group together. And so at the time you didn't know how it's going to evolve, but it's just so wonderful. And here we are, evolving into this Chaverim group in the different iterations, and we don't know what's going to be next. Yes. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh wow, it's a heavy paper.
And these are the right, and we have a few diplomas for the folks that could not attend, which we will send to them via email, I guess. I don't know.
They don't get the Smarties.
Let's have a round of applause for all the graduates. Thank you. Woo! And yes, throw our hats in the air. Yay! Eat and drink. Right.